This video will be discussing common denominators. It's important to be able to create common denominators for a pair or more of fractions so that you can add or subtract them. The first pair of fractions we're going to look at is 1/5 and 2/3. Our goal is to create two equivalent fractions, one for each of these, that have a common denominator. Now the first step is we need to figure out what would be a good common denominator for 5 and 3. So we need to think to ourselves, what are some common multiples of 5 and 3? In order to determine that, we would make a list of multiples of 5. 5s would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And next to that, we're going to make a list of multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And I'll stop there and determine, is there a number that is in both lists? The answer is yes. 15 is a common multiple for 5 and 3, so that will be our common denominator. So we're going to be turning each fraction into an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 15. Now, to determine the numerators, we have to find the relationship between the old denominator and the new one. So we think to ourselves, what would I do to 5 to turn it into 15? The answer is I would multiply it by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. With fractions, the most important thing to remember is whatever you do to the numerator or denominator, you also have to do to the other number. So because 5 was multiplied by 3, I now need to multiply the 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/5 becomes 3/15. Over here, I think to myself, what did I do to 3 to turn it into 15? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. And because I multiplied the denominator times 5, I need to multiply the numerator times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So 2/3 converts into 10/15. 1/5 converts into 3/15. And we have now created a pair of fractions with common denominators that are equivalent to our initial fractions. Let's do one more. We need to create equivalent fractions with a common denominator for 7/12 and 2/6. So I need to think of a common denominator for 12 and 6. I can write my list of multiples again, and I have some multiple choices actually. I could use 12, 24 would be another option, and I could go on from there. 36 would be another choice, but I'm going to go with the least common multiple or the least common denominator, which is the 12. If you can use one of the denominators already there, it will save you time. Because if the denominator does not change, neither does the numerator. 7/12 can stay 7/12. Over here, my 6 was converted to a 12, and I need to think, how would I convert that? Well, that would be by multiplying by 2. 6 times 2 is 12. And since I multiplied the denominator by 2, I have to do the same to the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4. So my new pair of fractions with a common denominator that are equivalent to my initial fractions are 7/12 and 4/12.